I just want to show you some of these news articles on the Dublin riots. 14 agitators have been confirmed by the Garda probe leaks to claim and all this other stuff, saying that it was the far right's fault for the riot. Where on any of these articles do you see people talk about the genuine cause of the riots, which was the stabbing of 3 children? If you look on Wikipedia, now this is what caused the riot. Earlier that day, outside a primary school in Parnell Square East at around 1:30 p.m. GMT, a man stabbed 3 young children, critically injuring a 5-year-old girl. Now, wouldn't this make anyone riot if your kid was stabbed? But no. Instead, they blame the far right. They blame anyone but themselves. It turned out to be a naturalised Irish citizen of Algerian origin. So he was in the country for, a few years? He still shouldn't have been there. And it's later revealed that the same man who stabbed these poor children had like history of drugs, had a history of mental illness, and he should never have been in the country in the first place. But because Ireland accepts thousands of refugees in much of the rest of Europe, he was allowed in. It's disgusting. We are destroying our countries and our culture through mass uncontrolled immigration, and it needs to stop. But yet the Conservative government here in the UK and the Socialist government in Ireland will not stop immigration. No wonder we're having the rise of the so-called far right. And by the way, far right now has lost all meaning. It means nothing anymore. It simply means that you're concerned about your kids being stabbed by foreign migrants who shouldn't even be here. That's what far right means. I mean, they call us all racists and whatnot for not wanting people of different cultures to be in our country. But don't you think that the indigenous people of a country have the right to decide who and what should be in their country? And what cultures, and certainly what religions should be in their country? Yet, in Europe, when white indigenous people have lived in Europe for thousands of years, ever since the Stone Age, say that, we don't want certain cultures and certain religions in this country because they're known to be violent, and they are violent. They're called racists and far right and whatever. But if in Saudi Arabia or Africa a large number of Christian immigrants came in and the native Saudis said, we don't want them here, they're going to ruin this country's culture, they won't be called far right, would they? They'd be saying, they don't want these people in this country, and the Christian immigrants in Saudi Arabia will be in the wrong. But yet over here, it's us, the natives, who are in the wrong for not wanting certain immigrants in this country. It's just disgusting. This needs to stop. How many more deaths will it take? There's one in Paris, one in France, a small village in France, where they were having a village ball, and a bunch of migrant men turned up and shouted, "We're here to kill white people," and proceeded to kill a man named Thomas and a few others, stabbing them but not critically injuring them. And then they fled and they haven't been found. And we can see that most of the immigrants that come here don't want to adapt this country's culture. They don't want to integrate. We saw that plenty during the pro-Palestine riots we had in London and other big cities around Europe. It's clear they were shouting anti-Semitic slogans. They were calling for Muslim armies. Now, Jews in England, in this country, say that they feel unsafe. They feel unsafe in this country because of certain individuals of a certain faith calling them kafirs and saying that they're going to kill them and they're going to stab them for being Jews. It's just we have let in so many migrants from so many third world countries where there was a different culture and a different attitude that does not compare with the West. And this needs to stop. It needs to stop. England and Ireland is a Judeo-Christian Catholic country. Certain faiths and certain religions that do not like tolerance and do not want tolerance, only want domination, don't belong here. Yeah, if you state the obvious that they don't belong here, you're called a racist and put in prison, such as Tommy Robinson, who was part of a Stop Anti-Semitism march. He was a journalist, and the march said that journalists were allowed there. Yet Tommy Robinson was arrested and had pepper spray sprayed in his eyes. It's just disgusting. How many more people have to be killed by diverse individuals until we finally realise this has to stop? How many more?